Welcome to Wild Her Wisdom, the podcast where sassy meets savvy. Join Shelley and Amy as they dive into the heart of womanhood, blending inspiration, laughter, and authentic conversations. In each episode, they celebrate the wild and wise woman in you, exploring everything from personal growth and self-care to career and relationships. So whether you're looking for a spark of joy, a dose of empowerment, or a good laugh, you're in the right place. Let's get started on today's journey into Wild Her Wisdom.
All right, welcome back to Wild Her Wisdom, where we do all things fierce, fabulous, and oh, so empowering. Today we have two incredible women who I happen to know personally, and they are going to blow your absolute mind with their creativity and design genius. And I'm not being hyperbolic, listeners. This is some serious stuff going on. First of all, we have Mary. Mary is multi-talented. Hint, hint, she did my boudoir photos years ago.
Yes,
Hanging in my bedroom. Where else would I put pictures of myself? They're in my room. Mary Gaida, she is an event planning extraordinaire, DIY queen. She can make anything look amazing on a budget. Can't even believe how she does it. She is just amazing. And we've got Stephanie Murray, who is the owner of Stephanie Murray Makeovers. She can take a thrifted find, a unique piece, something that you just had somewhere in your mind that you thought of. She knows it. And she's going to be able to create absolute magic in your space. You can see in her space behind you. She does these temporary spaces at home. Like, well, my stuff looks the same every damn day. But we are so excited to have you here, ladies. Longest opening, but thank you for being here.
thank you.
Thank you for having us. It's going to be so much fun.
It's going to be so fun. Oh, and listeners, this is Wild Her Wisdom wine day for me. So I have a little glass of cab with me. So I might be extra sassy.
Yeah, you did not warn me that ahead of time. So I am not prepared. So next time I will be prepared.
Yes, memo.
I'll let you know. I'll let y'all know the next time.
Yeah.
All right. Let's get into it, ladies. So Mary, you are known for creating amazing jaw-dropping events that feel like super luxe, super bouge, but are done on a budget. Like, seriously, how do you pull it off? I've been to them, so I'm asking, honestly, how do you pull it off? And what's your secret to making something look and feel high-end without spending an absolute fortune?
It starts with fear. I'm so afraid to go over budgets. So I think and overthink some more, and then I let it go. That's the key. I DIY, I set a clear budget, and it's all about the venue. Where can you save but still have a bougie event? It's all about creative catering. What can we eat that people will love? That's not the most expensive thing on the menu. Mm-hmm. And of course, renting things instead of buying. Those are the big things.
Oh, and it's always the details to me. Like it's the fine details that say super bouge to me, because you'll have this amazing space and then you look closer and it's like, oh.
Yeah, it gets very exciting when you can add in a little sequin and a little sparkle, and it's all about the details, whether it's the cutlery or the plating or the centerpieces or that bougie backdrop. Those are the things people remember. I always say those are the Instagrammable moments. Yeah. If you want to take a picture for their Instagram, you've done okay.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I've never heard that before. Instagrammable moments. Nice.
Well, Stephanie is definitely Instagrammable.
She is.
Yeah.
She definitely is. So I've been stalking your account since I knew that we were going to have you on here, because we are going to be new fast friends since you just live like around the corner from me now. I know.
Exciting.
And I just saw the post that was talking about those mirrors behind you, those very mirrors behind you. So it's awesome and fabulous. So you mix all these unique thrifted pieces with modern elements so seamlessly. How do you find those hidden gems and make them work in your space? Because you have such a unique eye. And I also want to point out that I noticed in all of your posts, like, you're giving credit to where you get things, which I think is extremely important to give kudos to other small businesses. So, but I digress. Back to how you find these hidden gems and make them work.
Well, I love that you caught on to that, because actually that's one of my secrets is I source locally as much as possible. And, whether it's from Bradley's or from Twiggy's, or it's even from the Free Cheap and Antique store. Like I'm always keeping an eye out for just something that feels like it's just that little bit of wow that I can incorporate into whatever it is I'm doing. And I definitely have a niche with doing sort of collage type things where I'm mixing and matching a bunch of different stuff. But one thing that my girlfriend likes to call my superpower is that I can generally anticipate what's coming next in terms of trends.
Oh.
And so for decades, I've studied the connection between the automobile industry, couture, high-end couture, off-the-rack fashion, and then it trickles down to home decor. So if you're paying attention to where cars and couture are right now, you will know where your home decor is going to be in about 2 to 3 years.
That's interesting.
Yeah. So when
No
I see,
idea.
Yeah, no.
it's funny. It reminds me of that scene in The Devil Wears Prada where Miranda Priestley's telling Andy about the cerulean blue sweater and how she thinks she's so self-important, but really that was determined for her by to the fashion elite years back.
Yeah. Oh
So
my
it's kind of like
gosh.
that. So once I see something coming, I just kind of start looking for it in thrift stores or on the side of the road or, you know, things that look like it. And I just start collecting so that when it starts feeling like it's about ready to break, I'll lead with it. And then that's when people call me like, I want that in my house. So
Right.
it just feeds itself and it's so much fun.
Do you have, so like another question, like, do you have like a warehouse that you have to have a lot of stuff that you pull in just when you need it?
Well, I keep a whole inventory in my basement, actually.
Your basement?
And I
Okay.
collect all these things, but I like to try them out in my space first before I really know what I'm going to do in other people's spaces. So that's what you see on Instagram is me often exploring something in my own space. And then I hold on to it because surely next year or 2 years from now, somebody's going to call me and want a makeover similar to something I did before. And I'm like, I happen to have those same items available.
Yeah, you're gonna have to have a second house or something when you start collecting all of these.
I know. Well, my kids actually sort of forbid me from changing the furniture anymore because they came home once and all my furniture was gone. And so now I try to keep it somewhat static, but I just swap out little installments like the one you see behind me.
Yep. Interesting.
So that
That's
is
awesome.
totally okay. That is leading me to a question because one thing I know about you and Mary is you will change your house on a dime. Like my house looks the same always and forever. Like you can probably come see me in 20 years if I still live here. Like I'd be the person with whatever the style of wallpaper was the day I moved in the house, like all the years later. And like you, I know that you changed even your bedroom location, Stephanie. Mary, you'll be like, oh, I laid wood floors in my kitchen this weekend. Like what? Like, so, like just out of the blue, like just and doing amazing things. So we've got listeners that want to transform their spaces, they want to transform their homes, and they don't know where to start. So, what is your number one tip for someone who's on a budget but wants to refresh their space? Mary, you go first.
Usually what inspires me to change my space is usually in the thrift or something Stephanie posts or something like that. I'll just see one thing and I'll think, I love that. And then everything else comes from that one piece. It drives my husband effing crazy.
You can say fuck on this show. You can say fuck on this show.
Okay, fucking crazy. You might see a chandelier or just a beautiful picture, you know, and then I'm buying paint. I am thrifting curtains. It just goes from there. So,
but you have skills too, though. Like you have skills.
Yeah.
Like you can paint. I've seen you make like I've seen homemade gifts that you've made for family, for friends, for things like that. So you definitely have skills that some of us, hint, hint, me, don't feel like they have right now.
I disagree. I've seen things you've made. You do very well.
She is very creative and crafty. I do like changing my furniture, like the arrangement of my furniture often, although I don't have a lot of options for that in my current living space. But when I did have options, I would change around my furniture. But I like that idea of just finding one piece and then building around that. I feel like when we remodeled our place in 2021, it was like we had the fireplace was like the centerpiece and we had to build off of that. And then we eliminated part of a wall. And so it's like I couldn't keep the same furniture because it was a different color, but like I couldn't even figure out how to lay things out. But it was like building on that fireplace feature, you know, and then just around that. But I don't know. Okay. All right.
Wait, I want to hear Stephanie's tip though. I want to hear Stephanie's tip.
I
What's your
know.
tip? Okay.
So Stephanie, what's one design tip or trick that anyone can implement today, in your opinion, to elevate their home without spending a ton of money?
Well, I think for my go-to is where's the biggest pain in the ass in my house, or where's the biggest problem in a space that
Is
I'm.
it a human or
It can
or is it
be.
okay?
I literally had people who said, my spouse is rough on furniture and I need like
Yeah,
a
okay.
different thing here. And it's like, okay, I can work with that.
Yep.
But for me, I do take a page out of Mary's book where I'm like, if I find something that inspires me, this was my reason to clean my whole house, is just so I can see this looking pretty.
Mm-hmm.
The rest of the time, I really approach things. My first question when I talk to new clients is, what isn't working for you in this space? And then what's the purpose of this space? And how do you want to feel when you're in it?
Mm-hmm.
And I often find that really kind of creates the step-by-step process right there, is solving a problem and then being really honest with ourselves. Like, it doesn't have to be Instagrammable. It
Mm-hmm.
really just needs to be effective for you. But if you can make it pretty at the same time, sure, let's pull in all the things you love.
Yep.
And in one of my recent 517 magazine articles, I talked about that. Like, I'm so for the maximalism trend right now, because why not surround yourself with everything that you love and you're inspired by and that touches you and like all your heartstrings. So that's really it for me. Like, I don't think anyone really needs to spend a fortune, because I think we all have a lot of stuff already that we love and
Gotcha.
stash it away because it's not really, maybe the next person who lives in our house won't like it, but
Right.
I really believe in like, get your shit out and enjoy it now in your space right now.
Maximalism. I hadn't heard that term either.
Yeah.
Instagrammable and maximalism. We're learning so many new things
It's
for our dictionary.
trending. It's
Yeah,
trending. It is.
it's
I like
trending. Yeah.
what you said about understanding your space. So I am a book nerd, and so I love James Clear Atomic Habits. And one of the things that he talks about is having a space for you to do things, right? Setting up your space for success. Because oftentimes we say, oh, I want to do more reading, or I want to do more writing, or I want to do whatever, but we don't have a space set up for that. And we're such creatures of habit that, like, if you sit on your couch, it's with a bowl of popcorn and Netflix. Or if you're in bed, it's, watching TV or scrolling through your phone. And how you set up, understanding what your space needs to be or what you want it to be, and then setting yourself up for success, I think is so very key. So very key. I love it.
Yeah, and I think that too, it goes right along the lines of what your whole podcast is about, which is having to do with being intentional and purposeful and really kind of doubling down on that in your space. Like, how can I make this a very intentional space? How can this be purposeful in my world? And then, building it around yourself is just kind of the best way to go.
I love
I
it.
read something really recently as well about how people are trying to make their homes like a show house and ready for sale, and quit doing that and make the house you want to live in.
Surround
Change
yourself
a
with
lot
all
to
your
think that
favorite
way.
things, right?
Yeah.
Stephanie,
Yeah.
that's what you were saying too.
It
Like,
reminds me of like my grandparents used to have the plastic on their couch in the 80s, because I'm from the 1800s, or from the 1900s, not 1800s. But in the 80s, like, remember the trend when you had like plastic on your couch? And I just always thought, this is so sweaty. And why wouldn't you just use your shit? Like, why would you
yeah,
buy something to keep it protected? Like,
or
just
have
use
the
your shit.
whole
Right.
the sitting room that's with all white furniture that nobody can ever go into. Like,
Right.
what's the purpose of that?
Yeah. Bring me in there with my glass of red wine. Oh
Yep.
gosh, what a disaster.
Yeah, and bring out
Um,
and bring out your fucking china. Like, don't even keep it in the cabinet.
exactly.
I
Bring
will
me
tell
some
you.
fucking China.
Yeah. I do have all white furniture, and as you know, I have teenagers. So I recently had
Yeah.
replaced one of my white love seats with one that was covered by a fabric that you could literally leave out in the sun outside and it won't stain or mildew or anything.
Oh
And I'm
my
like,
gosh.
my love seat is made for the outdoors and a 14-year-old boy.
Yeah, there you
Nice.
go.
Nice.
That is okay. You're still
Yeah.
using it. It's
That's right.
usable, it's livable, it's sat in. It's like not the room that you were like banned from going into.
That's thinking smart there, Stephanie.
We need a new fabric
Very-
for furniture called man-proofed, and it can be that fabric.
God.
Stephanie. It'd be perfect.
Yes.
Oh,
Man-proof, kid-proof, dog-proof. Can we get
Yeah.
all of it? Can we get it
Yeah.
all right there?
all of
Yeah.
it. Trifecta.
So, Mary,
Mhm.
I've already said you turn the ordinary things into extraordinary, and I love watching your transformations. You recently did a room around what I believe you call the mega shelf in your home. So she found that one piece of furniture that she
Mhm.
loved, styled it, and did her whole thing around. But you've also done a lot of other things.
Mhm.
What if you had to choose like your favorite, and it may not be necessarily in your home, but your favorite project, like DIY project that you did, and that you're most proud of, what would it be?
That probably goes back to when I did photography and I did boudoir and I created my own sets. No one could
Mm.
know I did boudoir. The regular mainstream clients, don't want to see that. So it was a blow up mattress. I would have hidden bedding and all sorts of things. And so I would remake a set every day using just large pieces of wallpaper or backdrops that look like wallpaper, bring in some fur and whatever else. And it would have to literally build a set in an hour. And so doing the photographies, and then I would kind of fake the outfits too. So with tulle and things like that, just making magic with that. So it's not one particular thing, but it's those things that I really loved.
Yeah,
But
I'm
you
so
had a
glad I got
theme.
mine done back when I was younger. I look at them every day because again, they're hanging in my bedroom. Who else am I going to hang pictures of in my bedroom but myself?
That's right.
And I
I'm
think
sure Matt appreciates them too.
whether he does or doesn't, they're not going anywhere. But I look at my thing. I don't know if Mary photoshopped me, but I look fucking amazing in those
You did.
pictures.
You did.
I'll have those. Who's getting these in the will kids? Just kidding.
They're all gonna fight over them. We need that picture of mom.
I mean,
Oh,
really, to see you like looking so radiant and so
Mhm.
like in yourself, like that takes a lot of confidence to be in a boudoir shoot. So to like, I would cherish that if I were your children. Be like, look at my mom. That's
Yeah,
amazing.
absolutely.
As hell.
Yeah. Proud of
I
her.
love it.
She's worked for all of that beauty, right? A lot of it, it's all her. But all right, Stephanie. So coming back to the theme of intentional pieces and statement pieces in the room that can completely change that room's vibe. What's been your favorite thrift store find, and how did you incorporate it into one of your designs?
Oh gosh.
I know it's a tough question, probably.
Thrift store finds. I mean, I'm constantly in thrift stores, so it's a little tricky to answer, but literally this installation behind me that we were talking about earlier,
Love it.
I was thinking I got this beautiful late 1800s buffet from a client who wanted to upgrade a piece of furniture in her house, and she's like, do you want to buy this from me? And I was like, yes, because I've been in your house a million times and loved it. So I it's a centerpiece. It's one of my favorite things in my house, and it means so much because it came from her, and she's one of my like favorite design clients who has her own great vision. So I've had it here, and I'm constantly building these big giant, you know, themed sort of installations, whether it's holiday or, creepy botanical and kind of stuff I'm known for. But I had this idea. I'm like, I really want to add some height and some drama. And I had these two mirrors that I got on clearance last year at Kirkland's that were arches.
Mm-hmm.
Really look amazing there, but I have to dismantle other things I love, and I don't want to do that. And so I went to bed going, man, I just can't bring myself to taking that apart. And the next day I walked into the free cheap and antique store. In their free section, they had two identical mirrors that were from somebody's dresser from like 1950s or early 60s that were tall and arched and dramatic and with gold accents. And I was like, well, there it is. I just totally manifested this. Like
You
when
did.
I woke up and here I am. So
Yep.
that's like my current favorite thing. I am so in love with it. And I mean, I'll probably change in about 3 months, but right now,
Great.
I have a hard time imagining that.
Yeah. Well, and it's beautiful. It's got kind of some fall themes to it, right?
Yeah. I have a
Decorations
little
to it. Yeah.
skull in here as part of
Yes.
it.
I
love
was
that.
like, I was pretty sure it had like fall theme. Meanwhile, I'm still in my tank top because fall doesn't start for 2 more days, and I'm just grabbing the last 2 days of summer that I can.
Yeah. It is definitely summer outside. It's just turning
Yes.
to Halloween in my house.
Yeah.
The weather
Yep.
is not cooperating for
No, next week
sure.
it'll change, I think, but for now,
So-
I'm just soaking it all in.
Right. Okay. This isn't an official question, but you keep saying this free, cheap, and something. What is
Free,
it?
cheap, and
What is it?
antique store.
Okay.
I
Yeah,
know.
this
I keep
place.
saying
I
I'm
need
going
to
to
be there.
go, and I have not been yet. We
Yeah.
should go
Okay,
together.
like, how can I become friends with them?
Oh, they're amazing. So I think it's their primary business is actually Lansing junk haulers.
Yes.
When they get called to clean out a residence or a place of business or whatever items that are like left to haul away for junk, instead of putting it in the landfill, they take it back to their store and sort of figure out the value of it. And they are actually really good at knowing the value of stuff. And so sometimes I go in there and I have a little sticker shock because I'm like, I thought this was supposed to be cheap. But the beautiful thing about this place is not only do they have a pretty vast free section, everything in there is, resale or secondhand, but if they have a charity every month, and if you donate at least $5 to their charity, you get 50% off your purchase. So like if you saw something, you're like, oh, I love this, but I don't even want to spend $50 on it. You make a $5 donation and you get it for 25.
That's fabulous.
Nice. Mary, did you
Yeah.
know about this place? Everyone's nodding their head and I feel out of the know.
We need to go ASAP.
I'll take you
Yeah.
back. It's awesome. I love it. I go there like every week.
Yeah,
we're gonna
I have not
we're
been.
gonna have a field trip. I see a
Yeah,
field
I
trip
think we
between the
should.
four
I
of
think
us.
we should do a field trip. I knew about it. Like I
love
said, I haven't been. I've been to April's Antiques. I love that
I
store.
love it too.
Dicker and Deal, of course. But yeah, I have a few things from April's in my house right now. But that's awesome.
Oh, me too. All right, I want to get back to this creativity because you all are super creative. I don't consider myself super creative. You've talked a little bit about this, but I want to do you all have Pinterest boards? Like, what are you doing? Are you making collages out of magazines? Like, are you just like walking in the world and going, perfect, I'm going to bring that to my house? Because sometimes I see things and I go, I love that. I have no idea what I would ever do with it. So I'm just going to walk away. All right. So in order of excitement, tell me, where are you getting this from, ladies?
I'm going with your third option. I don't save anything. I don't have a Pinterest. I see something and I grab it, and it may sit in the house for a year until I know what I want to do with it. I've got quite a stock in the corner of the room I'm in right now that just needs a home in my house, and it'll find it because I'm like Stephanie. I like to change things out all the time.
So you're letting it marinate. You're just bringing it, and it's not mocking you in the corner. It's marinating. You're coming up with ideas.
Yeah. Or I have ideas and I'm needing to prove my budget request through to the man of the house, which often he'll try to ignore. And then I go buy it anyway. So
I'm like, listen, do I need to have a talk with him? Stephanie, you're shaking your head. Are you kind of on the same vibe? You're like,
I seat in my pants. The timeline from automotive to home decor is always in my mind. I'm always kind of keeping my eye out for what textures and colors I know are coming down the pike. And, I've always been an early adopter of things. So I always kind of like to get ahead of the curve when I can. So that's really what it is for me too, is I'll go out, like Mary said, and I'll see something like, oh, I love this. And I am immersed in this whole aesthetic culture. So I'm like, I have a Pinterest account just for keeping track of what my clients are sending me, because they send me like, this is my mood board that I want for my room, but I really don't use Pinterest either. I'm like, I know it when I see it, and I'll take it home and I will undo my entire house to incorporate this one little trinket that I just found at Goodwill.
all right, Stephanie. So I was driving home from Detroit today from work, and I saw a Tesla truck. What's the vibe for that in our houses in a few years? Because I just think it's nice.
I've already seen it in fashion. Actually, this season, we're seeing a lot of silver and reflective silver in like pleather pants and, patent leather, like silver metallics and puffy vests and like this real futuristic kind of vibe. And I'm like, that did not take long.
That's
Okay,
fascinating.
Wow. Interesting. Okay. So you kind of all just kind of go with whatever the inspiration is that hits you. All right. Let's see. All right, let's have a little bit of fun. If you could design, this is going to be for both of you, but if you could design a space or plan an event, I guess we can use that too, for any celebrity, who would it be and what would that space or event look like? Stephanie, you go first.
Me first. No, Mary goes first. Mary goes first.
Well, I need a break. My mind is going to the wrong places because my event would most likely be private.
Wow.
You said any celebrity, and I'm just,
Well,
that's okay. Do share.
We're not talking Diddy parties, right? We're not getting
no, I'm thinking like Jason Momoa or.
Oh, that's totally fine. Yeah.
It's just going to be a red room. Sorry.
Am I the only one drinking wine here?
Maybe not. Oh gosh, that's a good one. Jason Momoa. I think he needs help because doesn't he just live out of a camper right now? It seems
I
like.
think so. Yeah.
Okay.
Oh my. So he
You could
needs
do a lot
some,
with a camper.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you could do the camper. You could do like the whole like, I don't know, tiny home style and
Oh, yeah.
I'm
I don't
into
know.
For a
tiny
very
homes
large
right
human.
now. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
are you?
Yes, they fascinate me. I want just a
They fascinate
little,
me too.
yeah, little tiny home on the water. I want a clean slate so I can have my
Mm-hmm.
big front door and my white rocker on the porch and
Mm-hmm.
a great view in the back.
Love
Yeah.
I
it.
like it.
Yep.
I like it.
Yeah, they
Nice.
fascinate me too. I don't know. I'm sure I could live in a space that tiny, but it gives me a little bit of anxiety to have to let go of some things. Like going through, there was a show right on HGTV. There's probably a couple of them. Like they move people into them, and they had to make piles of things that they have to get rid of and stuff. And then some of the struggles that they would have. I feel like I'd have a struggle.
See, I'd never let go of the other home though. The tiny home would be the place I go for
The
fun,
extra.
kind of
Yeah.
my girl pad. So
And it's just all
Mhm.
your favorite things that no one has to approve.
right,
That's true.
right.
Yeah.
Mary, have you cleaned up your thoughts to tell us where you would have an event or what celebrity you would plan it for?
Oh
It's
my
okay. If it's
goodness.
not safe for work, that's
No,
fine.
no, not safe for work. No. I feel like I'd love to go to either Grand Rapids or Detroit into some of those grand spaces and then just hold, with you think about Art Prize that's going on right now in Grand Rapids, something like Art Prize inside and just sort of a circus of an event with so many things going on that people don't know what to do first. That would be epic. That would probably take me about 5 years to plan, but
I like
that's
it.
what
I know you could do it. I know you could do it.
Yeah.
All right, let's get a little personal. My wine's starting to kick in. This is gonna be a question for both of you. I'm gonna have Mary go first since she got to hold off on the last one for a minute so she could cleanse her thoughts. What's one thing about you that people are always surprised to learn?
Oh goodness. Maybe you tell me what surprised you about me. Probably that I
Oh.
did the boudoir photography because I seem to come across as such a Pollyanna. So the fact that I took dirty pictures, and I wouldn't say dirty, but to some inappropriate pictures of
NSFW.
lingerie. What's that?
Not safe for work
Yes,
picture.
not safe for work pictures, which I think are beautiful and empowering. And I think once people actually would see my work, they would understand it was not what they thought. But I think that surprised people because everyone thinks I'm such a goody two shoes. So,
Nice. What about you, Stephanie?
I think probably similar. I have a extensive background in marketing and media, so I've always, been pretty squeaky clean in my socials and outwardly. But my dad was a heavy metal musician and a motorcycle, like a biker. So I think that,
That's awesome.
my upbringing was very much like the Osbournes, if you remember that on MTV.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
My dad was rich and famous, but like there was just a lot of like really unexpected, unorthodox kind of stuff happening in my world. And so I really like leaned into my dad's vibe a lot, where I was like, you know what? I'm just going to do my own thing out here. And sometimes it fell into like a corporate path and it was safe. But then after a while, I was like, if I'm going to make anybody money, I'd rather it be me and I can choose where I'm going to put my money back into the community and what good I'm going to do with it rather than letting corporate people decide that for me. So I really drew a lot from, a person who speaks obscenities exclusively. So
Listen, I've never shied away from the F word.
me either.
Oh my goodness. All right. So speaking of surprises, if you both had to pick your all-time favorite space or event, all time, all of the things that you've done, all time, like what would it be? And either one of you, as Shelley says, in order of excitement, either one of you can go first. All-time favorite space or all-time favorite event.
I'll jump in, Mary. I'll let you think for a sec. I think probably for me is I've done a lot of stuff that is very sentimental and meaningful to me, but to have had the opportunity recently to make over a restaurant in our community that's such an icon, and to have the owner trust me to just kind of come in with my own vision and do whatever I wanted to do in the space, and but also keeping it true to the, vibe of the brand.
Yep.
It was such an honor to be able to go into Soup Spoon and just kind of like really look at it from the ground up and say, what can we keep? What
Yep.
can we improve, or what can we refresh and update? And to have rebuilt the entire shelving unit behind the bar using Michigan barnwood and old rustic barn wood to create these like old chicken sort of hutch kinds of shelves to store all the liquor on. I still walk in there and I'm like, man, I want those shelves.
Yeah, you go, God, I am so good.
Yes.
I really
That's
outdid
what you should
myself
say.
on that one.
Yeah.
It
The
really makes
pictures
me
were
happy.
the pictures were amazing, and I'm sure that being there in person, it's even better.
Yeah, so that's probably my favorite, is those, just having the opportunity to do something that's that meaningful in our community. And it's something that I don't know anybody who doesn't, have some feelings about Soup Spoon. So to be able to, walk into a place that's so cherished by such a large number of people in our community and to leave my own stamp on it, it just felt really good.
That's awesome. I love that story, and you'll have that forever.
Yeah, thank you.
Your legacy will be there.
All right, Mayor Bear, did you come up with a safe for her
Boy,
plan?
well, I'm just coming off of the high of the Greater Lansing Entrepreneurial Awards, which
Woo!
was amazing.
Yeah.
And it's still feeling really, really good. I've been smiling for days just because everything looked and went so well, thanks to all the people who were vendors and everything else. But knowing I had a hand in that feels pretty darn good. And now I'm charged with, the next one, which I have to somehow make better. And that's going to be terrifying and incredible all at once. So
I
Here's
can't
the
wait
thing,
to see
Mary's
it.
so good at everything, like putting charcuterie boards together. Like she just has an eye to make things look awesome. Like if I was putting, a table together, I'd just put food on the table. Like she's like, oh, let me get some tulle and tie it in knots. And it just like looks so fancy. And I'm like, I never thought of that. I would just put a tray on there and been like, best of luck to you, everybody.
hey, you and I just put a charcuterie board together, and I say teamwork. It was gorgeous.
It was so fun. We should own a charcuterie.
We really should.
Okay. For our listeners who are feeling inspired, but maybe a little intimidated, what's a final piece of advice you would get them to start creating on their own? Just creating, no matter what it is, maybe decorating or events, maybe that's not their thing, but just to like let loose and create. What's the advice you would give them in order of excitement?
Well, for me, I would say just start small. Find one thing to create, play, and have fun. And don't give any fucks. Just have fun and see how much people love it. And then your creative juices will start flowing.
Well, and even if they don't love it, right? Like I've shown you, Mary, like I've started drawing, which is not in my skill set, but I got a little book that's like learning how to draw flowers step by step. And it's so good for your brain, first of all. Like I'm not getting any younger. Am I getting better? Absolutely. But I'm not getting younger. And just doing things like that and like stretching your creativity and all of that is really important.
Yeah, I agree. Starting small is really important. And I think too, like we were talking about earlier, just being honest with yourself and what you want out of the space or the event, and just kind of, instead of pouring it all into like what's everybody doing online and what what's the trendy thing right now, really just asking yourself these questions of like, what's important to me? How do I want to feel? What purpose is this for? What problem in my life does this solve? And it doesn't have to be big. It can be very small, or just, rearranging what you've already got. It doesn't even have to be anything new. It's just kind of looking at things from a fresh perspective with a lot of honesty.
I love that. I love that. You guys have had so
Jinx.
many great ideas. What did you say, Shell?
I said it first. Jinx. I love that.
You guys have had so many great, amazing ideas. And I love that you can just pick like one thing and build around it, and starting with fear and then working from that, Mary, as you said, like it's just gonna be great, and it's gonna be amazing. But that's like your push point, right? And then the fact I'm still amazed that, Stephanie, you can pick just like one little thing and like, I'm going to change out my whole house because I love this one little thing right here. Like that is awesome and intimidating at the same time.
So much fun though. Like maybe it's because of my ADHD is just out of control, but just to be able to walk into my house every day and see something like, ooh, I could make that better. And then I'll go down to my inventory, or it'll just occur to me when I walk through, like, oh, that thing I've had for months would be,
I can put it there.
Yeah. So this really starts with just a feeling, and that's really all it has to be, is like, what's that one? And I hate the whole Marie Kondo and does this spark joy? Because literally everything sparks joy in me.
Yep.
So, but it's what's today's joy, and really it feels like a reward. It feels like self-care. It feels like a way of honoring my own being and what makes my soul feel good. And I see Mary nodding, and I think that's really what drives us. It's like, what makes us feel good in our spaces? And that's really all it has to be.
It's very dangerous.
Joy.
It's dangerous.
It's dangerous.
Yeah.
I'll walk into the room on a Saturday morning. I look around, I sigh, and my husband says,
oh shit.
About to change something. Yeah.
Going to Home
That's
Depot.
the oh shit moment from the hubby. I like that. What's today's joy? I like that.
Yeah, I do like that too.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you all for being with us. We appreciate it so much. Can people follow you all anywhere? Can they reach out to you? What's the vibe?
Absolutely. I'm all over social media, or at least, Instagram and Facebook and a little bit on TikTok, but it's just under Stephanie Murray Makeovers. And yeah, I love when people reach out to me, and even people slide in my DMs like, what do you think of this idea? And I love hearing from people with what inspires them and what's really feeding their soul.
You heard it.
And
here.
I've been rebuilding my
DMs.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm rebuilding my Instagram.
All right, go ahead, Mare.
Sorry, I keep talking over you guys. I'm rebuilding my Instagram, but you can find me at Mary Gaida, and some things will start popping up very soon.
A little bit of a teaser there. Yeah.
I like it.
Somehow, speaking of your Instagram, I find that we have a few people in common, Stephanie. Like one of them is my mom follows you already.
Kidding.
Yeah, and she listens to all of this, so she'll find that interesting that you and I have met now and are chatting today. So I don't know how she found you, but she already follows you. So.
Wow. Well, I'm honored and excited. I'm going to have to talk to you offline and find out who it is.
Yeah, we definitely will. All right. Well, you stunning souls, unfortunately, we've reached the end of another journey together on the Wild Her Wisdom podcast. But don't let the conversation stop here. Keep the inspiration flowing by connecting with us on social media, like our Facebook page, and follow us on Instagram for a dose of empowerment and updates. And for those who just can't get enough, head on over to wildherwisdom.com. Shelly's dancing in the background. There you can connect with us, stay up to date on all of our latest adventures, and catch up on episodes you may have missed. So until next time, keep embracing your wild and exploring your wisdom. Remember, you are capable, you are resilient, and you are fucking amazing. Keep shining.
Yes.